Bye.
Oh, I missed the countdown. Oh no, the countdown's still going.
No, you.
Figures I did. I was off in place. That's not good. These are actually working. Okay, they sound. Don't put that out the universe. Okay.
All right.
Well, long time no see, or hear, whichever one you prefer. We, and when I say we, I mean we, have been insanely busy
Oh my
the
god.
past, what,
2 weeks?
Was it 2 weeks? I feel like it's been 3 weeks since we actually put anything out.
Well, just 2.
No, just 2 weeks. That feels so long. That feels so long because those 2 weeks were actually like a combination of felt like almost a month.
Yeah.
When you put those together, the amount of hours that we put or that we spent, not full disclosure. I don't know if anybody follows us on our personal accounts on Facebook and Instagram. You guys know that we play on a pool team together, and we were able to find our way into. I don't know what to say. Found our way into. We earned our way into.
We earned it, but
Playing into what's called a world qualifier to go to Vegas. I don't know if you guys have been with us for this long, you would know that we've been to Vegas multiple times. So this was nothing new for us. However, it was a new experience in its own right because, well, for me it was new because it was a team that I'd never played with before. I played with them, I knew them, but I hadn't played with them at a higher level, I guess, if that makes sense. So it was a new one for me, but it was also a new experience because I don't know. You explain it because it was. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it as far as like.
So we walked in. To give you guys some backstory, on a pool team, you typically have 8 people that are on your roster.
8.
And
keep that in mind.
Each of your players' skill levels cannot go over 23. So if I'm a 4 and Dylan's a 5, then that's already 9 points. So the rest of our players, and you can only play 5 matches in a I don't know.
And you can't. Okay, it'd be easier. You can't play more than 5 people in a setting. So there's 8 people on a team. Only 5 people play each round.
Yes.
And the 5 people that you play, their total skill levels cannot go over the number 23.
Yes. So it prevents you from playing like 5 7s.
You can't. You can't play all your best players.
Yeah. So walking into this, you're expected to have 8 people with multiple skill levels that you can kind of create your roster based on who your opponent is putting up, and kind of tailor the best foot forward. But Colin, my husband, who is our team captain, accepted a new position, and it involves a lot of traveling. So he actually was not able to attend. And one of our other players, he moved to Colorado, so he was not able to attend. And then our third player, who did not make it, unfortunately, she was 1 match away from qualifying to be able to play, which is crazy to us, but it is what it is. We got there, she wasn't on our roster, and there was nothing we could do about it. So we literally had 5 people, and I think, if I'm not wrong, we made 22 or 23 exactly.
We made 22 exactly almost every round.
Yeah, so we only had like 1 point to mess with. So if any of us went up a skill level, we were done.
Yeah, there was no maneuverability in anything that we could do. It was pretty much, this is what we have. The other team's going to know what we have. There's no bones about it.
The only thing we could change was the order we played in, and
which that didn't really change that much anyway. So long story short, I mean, we ended up. It was a fight. It was definitely a fight. Every match came down to the very last match, including sudden death, where everything is amplified and one wrong move can send you home. Pretty much every match every round we were in. We played almost every match possible. 8-ball didn't really go as well. It didn't really go that well. We made it. Okay, we made it far. Made it to what? The second round, I guess. I don't know. I can't remember.
The
third round, and then 9-ball the following week we made it. We're 1 match away from playing in the finals, and that match came down to again the final match, and it was sudden death, and it was a do or die. So again, 5 people, no maneuverability. Everybody knew what we were doing. Like. If one of the teams was there the week before, they knew like this is what they have. This is what they're going to have. I think we had Colin that one Friday night that he was before he left to go out of town. We had him for that one night, so we had a little bit of maneuverability. We could do something different, right? But outside of that, it was just the 5 of us the whole way through. And this was 3 days straight. It was Friday, 7 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m., and then Sunday, right? Or was it 11? 11, yeah. But yeah, so needless to say, the 2 of us, were ill-equipped to come here and give you anything of reputable content. Like if you go back and you watch our episodes and you kind of watch and you see where we're not very prepared for what we're going to do, and it's kind of like all over the place, it would have been 20 times worse had we tried to put something out for you guys. So
plus our minds were exhausted.
Yeah, plus there was no brain capacity whatsoever between the 2 of us. We had 1 brain cell between the 2 of us, and it was fighting for 3rd place. That being said, we are going to do our best to get back into a more consistent basis. We had some plans of events, I guess, and some stuff that we wanted to do to get you guys more involved outside of, we'll say, the studio. Those plans are still in play. Mm-hmm. However, they are going to be put on the back burner for quite a while because we got a lot of catching up to do. Because with these tournaments, like you basically put your life on hold for 3 days. You don't have any time to prepare, you have time to prepare, but you don't have time to do anything outside of going to the tournament. Like if you have stuff that you need to do, like errands to run, nope, can't do that. If you got like, I got housework to catch up on, nope, can't do that. Well, you should, but literally you almost don't have time because you get there at 10 a.m. Depending on how things go, you could be there from anywhere between 6 p.m. to possibly midnight.
Oh, well, that first night, I think we played till 1.
Yeah, we were done at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then decided to go out for longer. Then we lost, we didn't play till 6 p.m. the following day.
Yeah.
So we decided to go out and...
Oh, well, that night we got done at like 10.
Was it 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, either way. But either way, we still decided to...
We did, but it was fun.
It was I had
a great time.
I had a great time, regardless of the outcome. I didn't really care about I didn't really care about the outcome. I mean, well, I cared, but it was one of those things where it's like, you know what? I've said this before. That tournament is one of those things where a lot of things have to go your way. It's not, you don't have to just play well. You have to play well, and you have to be given opportunities, and things have to go your way. There's just a lot more factor than just playing good. You can play the best you can. Like I'm gonna toot my own horn. I think I played the best I've played those 2 weekends. I think that's the best I played those 2 weekends that I have in the past 6 or 7 months, and it still wasn't enough. Like I said, there was nothing wrong with any part of that with losing. And that's pretty much what we told the team afterwards. We were like, listen, we told them, like, regardless of what the outcome is, don't worry about it. It is what it is. Like, this is a hard tournament to win, especially if you're trying to do it the right way. If you're trying to do it with 5 people, like, the odds of us doing that were pretty slim. The odds of us getting as far as we did were pretty slim. So there was a lot to hang our hats on. Losing sucks. Nobody likes to lose. It was fun, and I wouldn't change it. That's my honest opinion. Like, I wouldn't change any portion of it outside of the fact that, we lost. Yeah. But I would rather lose and have the experience and have the time that we did than have it be stressful the entire stinking time and end up winning, right? Because it wasn't really for me, it was stressful, but it wasn't as stressful as it has been. Because like I said, I've been there before. Losing sucks, regardless of what happens. But, I mean, like I said, these tournaments, a lot of things have to go your way. You have to play good. People have to make mistakes. There's a lot of luck involved with these things.
Yeah, pretty much lost us the 8-ball part.
Did you say you did?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Well,
nobody lost any part of that.
Well, I lost the final match because I was defensed like multiple times in a row. And I was lucky enough to get out of 2 of them, but that third one I just...
Oh, yeah, that third one, like...
There's nothing I could do.
I told you afterwards, like, that was the perfect, like...
Lucky roll?
The chance that she took with that particular defense there was a lot of luck involved, and it was the perfect defense because there was nothing you could have done.
Yeah.
And I was just like, if she gets out of this, what the hell, right? But yeah, that one was just... Yeah, it
just is like a sucky feeling when you like lose by giving your opponent ball in hand, even though it wasn't like I could have done.
That sucks. It's like, I mean, maybe I could have done something, but then you're like, well, what could I have done? not a lot of ways I can get out of this outside of giving them ball in hand, or maybe putting something in a weird spot. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that one was nuts. The 9-ball was the go. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a recap of that entire tournament, because there was a lot of stuff that went down during that tournament, and none of it was really bad, right? It was just a lot of work had to be put into it. Yeah, it was 3 days, felt like 3 months of time. Because
2 weekends in a row.
2 weekends in a row. 6 days, 3 weekends in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we were there.
And not to mention that we played pool on Thursday night. So it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. I think I got lucky and didn't play that Thursday. Well. Yeah, oh, that's right, because I was sick.
You were sick and I was on 9-ball, but you came 8-ball week.
Yeah, that's right, I did. And I was like, yeah, see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 9-ball, I was sick as a dog. And I was like, if y'all want me tomorrow, then I can't play tonight.
Yeah. Oh, you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. Sorry. Let me do this the right way. Let me go back. Maureen, what do you want to talk about?
Boy. Okay, so in the past few weeks that Dylan and I have spent a lot of time together, some things have transpired, and we want to lead into that by doing a fun little react video. So we're going to share some narcissistic text messages that we found on Reddit, or we'll share the screen names and all that, but we just thought it would be kind of fun to pull back into our regular schedule by doing something a little different, but also something that we're gonna kind of test the waters and see if we can make a regular out of.
So we make a regular thing, and then also Dylan's gonna keep tradition. Dylan's gonna keep tradition of exposing himself on camera.
Yes.
Not like, oh my god, I didn't really think about the way I said that. Bringing his life into
personal
life into the story, because that's healthy.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We have a couple different scenarios just to start out with to kind of set the stage, and then Dylan's going to share his story at the end. Stick with us, and
it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun.
Full disclosure, she's read all of these. I haven't seen any of them. The only one that I've seen is the one that I know about.
I actually did not read any of them.
Oh, you didn't read any of these either? No. Okay, cool. So we're both going to find out together.
Yes.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, so who knows what's about to happen.
Some of these are going to be, maybe we'll be divided on these, like we're, or I'll dig myself a grave, like I'm really good at doing too. That'll be a par for the course. Well, that'll just be back to being regular programming at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan talks too much and digs himself a hole.
Well, that'll go on a t-shirt for you. So I'll go ahead and start with this one, and then Dylan will read them from here, because I have to share my screen with you all who are watching at home. Make sure you turn your video on. And if you're listening on YouTube, go check us out on Spotify so you can see the actual text messages, screenshots. So, okay. Our first scenario, number 1, is titled, "The Narcissism is Worth a Maximum Security Prison Sentence." And this was submitted by Hidden Thoughts 24 on Reddit. The backstory: we dated for 1 year in 2019 through 2020. Within 3 months of us dating, he also began dating another girl, and even went as far as proposing to her while still dating me and me not knowing a thing. She came to eventually and told me everything. We obviously broke up. They got married. It ended in divorce. We basically haven't had an actual conversation since we broke up, besides him texting me on multiple different occasions, apologizing and trying to vent to me about his failed marriage. So this also is the first time he has tried coming to me expecting me to be empathetic. I've always been this cold and short with him. Since then, I dated my ex for 3 years, and he isn't a thought in my mind. So let me share.
Yeah, that was a lot. So that last part, I've always been this short and cold to him. Since then, I've dated my ex for 3 years, and he isn't a thought in my mind. Okay, wait. So she was dating somebody and then broke up with him, or she went back to her ex after this happened?
She went back to, so since then, she dated her ex. Like, she's not in a relationship right now. She has an ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
Besides this guy.
Okay, I was confused. I was like, all right.
had this girl, first of all, we haven't even opened the text messages yet, but how does the ex-wife, the girl that's like, hey, by the way, your boyfriend's cheating on you, he proposed to me, and then go through with the marriage? Like, what? Okay. I have to figure this out. Hang on. Technical. Here we go.
I have seen stories of people having multiple relationships up until their wedding day and then breaking it off in their, like, when they're, like, on their wedding day.
Okay, so it's not...
Like, I've seen that a couple of times. I've heard that a couple of times.
All right, so do you want to be white or blue?
I'll be white.
Okay.
I guess, because I'm pretty sure that's the dude.
Okay.
I think. I'm making a lot of assumptions here. Hey, I need to talk to someone that knows me. Can you talk? That's a bold statement.
About what?
Can you call me? It's really important. I'm feeling very, very low. I was a real fucking piece of shit to you. I treated you like shit, and I didn't care. I was a fucking narcissistic asshole, and I completely get why you have resentment towards me, and I don't expect you to be here for me, but it's important.
I'm with a client, and I'd be more comfortable with more context. There's 4 of these, by the way.
I am getting my karma, Emma, and I feel like I'm getting that karma because of the way I treated you.
There we go.
There isn't one other person in the world I can talk to besides you about this.
Okay, well, you're being super vague, and I don't understand how this concerns me. So like I said, I'd like to know more before I talk to you.
I'll see if I can zoom in on these damn things.
Oh, can you not see? Hang on. Oh dear.
Oh God.
How do I go backwards? Here we go. Okay, hold on. There's gotta be a way. There we go. Is that better for you?
Oh, that's way better. Thank you. Okay, cool.
All right. No. Hold on.
I started a problem. Sorry.
You did. Okay, we read that one.
I think that was it right there.
Yeah, you're here.
Okay. I gave a girl my all. She cheated, dude. She hurt me bad. I am in your position when we were together. I need to talk to you. If you can't, fine, I don't blame you, but I'm asking you to please talk to me.
Oz, she cheated, dude. What? Okay. Coming to me after 4 years and expecting me to feel the slightest bit of empathy or sympathy for you just goes to show how narcissistic you still are. It sounds like you did get your karma. Leave me out of it.
It's not even that. You're clearly not over it, and that's fine. Sometimes you just gotta let the past go, and I thought you did. Yeah. And I thought I could talk to you about it, but thanks for making me feel more like shit.
Oops. No. Name.
Didn't think you gave a fuck about me. Don't flatter yourself. You're the root of what happened in the past. So I was trying to apologize. That's it. I'm not okay right now, and I thought I could talk. I thought human to human we could talk. Jesus.
I think that might be it.
No, yeah. Absolutely not.
I keep doing that. Okay, so
4 years. Hold on. 4 years. Like, I don't have, after 4 years, I don't have your number in my phone. Full disclosure. Like, there's no way. Like, if I have, like, I will go through, every now and then I go through, like, these, I guess, cleansing in my phones, and I'll just go through and I'll just find different names that I recognize, but I'm like, I haven't spoken to you in 6 or 7 months. Delete, right? 4 years, your number's not even in my phone. You're not even a thought at that point. Like, now, it looks like it still looks like she had his number deleted, because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I would assume.
I would hope so.
Typically, there's like initials up where the little face
That's true.
is.
You know, here's the thing, and this is probably the wrong way of going about this. Like, I don't feel like it's wrong for him to reach out. I don't. But I still think it could have been he could have gone about it a way better. Right? Mm-hmm. There could have been a, hey, or whatever. You know, I don't think.
I feel like I'm stuck on the fact that he wants to boo-hoo
yeah.
to the girl that he
did the same shit to.
With.
Yeah.
About the girl that he made. Oh. And then he's just like, gaslighting
like
her.
I was like he was like supposedly supposed to like get some sort of empathy. Like he was messaging her just so that he could get some sort of empathy.
Clearly you're not over me.
Yeah, clearly you're not over me. Well, whatever. It's been 4 years and I haven't contacted you one time. Kick rocks. The reaching out part I don't think is that big of a deal because it's like, but
no, but the way he said it, he said, I need to talk to someone that knows me. It's been 4 years. What?
That's just, I mean, you could have gone about that way better. There could have been a better way of doing that. Like, I don't actually, and honestly, I don't really know the better way, honestly, because it's like 4 years and it's like you're just going to text somebody out of the blue, right? You don't really know what to say. Like, I wouldn't do that.
I want to know what he was expecting.
No, I would love to know I would love to know what he thought he was going to get out of that. You know, sorry that's happening. You know, which would have been like, hey, you know, sorry that's happening. Sucks to suck. You brought it upon yourself. Like the red flag immediately to me should have been the ex-wife, the now ex-wife, told girlfriend that they were together and they were getting married. That was the red flag number. What should have been red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 should have been the ex-wife was willing to go through with the marriage.
Yeah.
Like nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a total red flag for me. Like even if I'm putting myself in his position, even if I did that, right? I am seeing multiple people and the person that I'm engaged to finds out and reaches out to the other person and says, hey, he's been cheating on you and we're getting married. And then that whole thing goes up, you know, whatever, right? I don't think I want to go through with that because what's the mindset of that other person, of that woman who reached out to your fiance reached out to that other girl, that your girlfriend and said this. And she's like, and by the way, we're getting married and still wants to go through with it. Like, do not be surprised that she first of all, don't be surprised that your marriage ended. Yeah. Second of all, she cheated on you.
You were
because you were doing the same shit.
Yeah.
And she accepted that. So like that's a huge like for me that's a huge red flag. Like but 4 years, I mean, I want to know how long. I want to take a nosedive at this and be like, how long was she actually cheating on him before he actually found out?
How long were they married?
How long were they actually married, right?
Before they called it quits.
Or before he found out. Or before. And which, like, who's to say that she wasn't doing the same shit before they got married too? Yeah. It was just, she just turned the tables because she wanted to be in control, because she was just as narcissistic as he was. You know, that's kind of my thought process on that whole thing. Like, I could see that going multiple ways.
Yeah.
You know.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, but and like I was saying before, while she was getting this ready, I've read stories of, you know, multiple of people being in multiple relationships up until their actual wedding day and then breaking them off that same day. And then the husband not knowing anything about it. That sounds bad. Like, what if they're like not okay? Like they're like you didn't tell him you were getting married, or you were like, at this, like, I'm only with you until this works out, or whatever type of situation, right? Mm-hmm. If you both know what's happening, well, whatever, you know. If you decide to stay in that predicament, you have only yourself to blame for one. 2, if you know what this is, then yeah, you shouldn't be upset. But, you know, you never know. That could be like, oh, hey, I thought I was going to have more time with this, or whatever. I've read stories where, and a lot of them are women, no offense, that have had multiple relationships up until their wedding day, and then like sending a mass text message before they walk down the fucking aisle, literally before they're walking down the aisle. And I'm like, what the absolute? I would no. Like, can you imagine getting that text message?
You know someone personally that did that?
No, absolutely not. Oh, no. Like I said, I've read different types of stories, kind of similar to these.
I cannot imagine that.
I would never. Can you imagine, first of all, getting that text message? Like, you're just sitting at home, and then all of a sudden you get a text message from somebody you've been seeing for like 3 or 4 months. Hey, by the way, I'm getting married today. This is over. Or I'm not feeling this anymore. You know, I think we're done. Whatever, you know? Yeah. And then like 2 days later, you find out that they're married. You're like, yeah. You put 2 and 2 together. You're like, no. No. Unless they knew, you know, it's like, oh, well, knew this day was going to happen. which would still suck, but at the same time, like I've had that happen to me before, not in that same context, where I've had somebody like literally like try to like, I don't want to say bully me into being in a relationship, and I'm like, I kind of want to kind of take things slow, and then they ghosted me. And then 2 weeks later, on their Facebook profile, it shows they're in a relationship. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So the same shit that you accused me of doing, which I was doing, but we weren't in a relationship. I told you the truth the whole way through.
Yeah.
You were doing, but now you're in a relationship with somebody else. Like, you know, and then you confront them about it, and you're like, hey, you easily could have said, hey, I'm not okay with this. I want something a little bit faster. Bye. I don't know, man. I just feel like being on the other end of that phone, being that other guy, and be like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm getting married today. We're done. Or I'm not feeling this. We're done. Sort of thing. It's like, oh. So, but that is a whole nother level of insane.
Agree. I think she said it perfectly. You're being psychotic.
Yeah. You reached out to me after 4 years wanting my sympathy. Do you really think that I didn't like have anybody else after you? Like, so egotistical to be like, oh, hey, by the way, you know, I know you're not over me. It's been 4 years. I know you can find somebody better. 4 years? 4 years? That's a whole college education. 4 years. That's a long time. And to think that somebody didn't date anybody after 4 years of dating you.
So this part is like, I couldn't give a crap about you. Sorry, I'm not gonna say the word. And then he goes, didn't think you gave a crap about me. Of course, other words, but I was like, then what the heck are you? Why
like, what's
did
the point of you reaching out?
Start this conversation with saying, I need someone that knows me. Like, what were you expecting her to just be like, oh, drop at your toes?
I look back at the backstory. We dated for 1 year between 2019 and 2020. So it was 1 year.
It was a full year.
That was a full year. And then within 3 months of them being together, he was also dating somebody. And then also proposed to that same person.
Wow.
1 year, 3 months in, he started seeing somebody else. And then within that same time frame of them being together, he became engaged to somebody else.
That's crazy.
There was just no way. Like, and then other thing too is like,
you know, I would be worried that I wouldn't. Like, how do you accidentally? What if he accidentally was like called the girl the wrong name or like whatever? Like, how do you?
You'll never recover from that.
Oh.
But the other thing too, any of you guys out there, tell me how you do this. How do you date multiple women at the same fucking time? Because I can hardly put up with one of them at the same time, or I could hardly put up with one of them. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way towards women. I just mean like if you have a person, right, or you're seeing somebody, that takes up all of your time because, yeah, there's no way that I could put up with more than one.
If you do it properly. I mean.
What is the proper way? There's no proper way.
Like, dating one girl at a time?
Well, that's what I mean. But I thought you meant the proper way, like if there's a proper way of doing it with multiple women.
Well, make it super clear that you're not exclusive and you're dating around.
That's okay, that. But I'm just, okay. But it's at the same time, like, there's just no way because, like, if you're, like, again, if you're dating somebody and you're seeing somebody and you're also seeing somebody else, like, the idea of having to put up with two people that have similarities of me, right? Like, that would drive me up a wall. I'd be like, there's no way. I hardly have the capacity for one. There's no way two of them? No. There's no way. And I mean that, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just mean like, if I'm dating somebody, they're going to be similar to how I am, which means they're going to drive me up a wall and I'm going to drive them up a wall. There's just no way, right? There's going to be times where they're going to want to push me down the stairs. I know, right?
Yes.
Imagine you've got that connection with somebody, but you're also dating somebody else who probably has those same similarities as well. Or like, you know what I'm getting at?
I suppose.
I would not be able to have, there's just no way I could handle it. You're both stubborn as fuck. That's for very certain. Neither one of you like giving ground, even though you do it a lot quicker than he does. And you still don't fully give ground. You just like, okay. And then you kind of like, I'll put this into context, you'll understand. There are very few people in this world that I've met that can stand their ground and backpedal at the same time. You are one of them.
You're welcome.
You will stand your ground, but then also be like, you know what? And then backtrack a little bit. And then wait, and then go full frontal. Just a full frontal assault. So.
You can come.
But yeah, those are one of the similarities. Neither one of you like to give, like when you're like fucking pit bulls. You just sink your teeth in and you just don't let go until one of you is like, this is stupid. And then it's like, yeah, this is stupid, but I'm still not giving up. Yeah. And then eventually I'll just somehow y'all work it. I don't know. I don't know the context of how it gets worked out. I just know that eventually it just kind of, yeah, it just kind of like, I think it just kind of like a butterfly just kind of flutters away. And it's like, all right, well, what are we fighting about? Oh, I forgot. Okay. You know, the charger. Oh, the charger. That's right. You took the phone charger, didn't tell me or whatever. I don't know. That's the two similarities that I could come up with right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, 2 of you and 2 of him? Absolutely not. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. We need the jury find the defendant is what would happen. Okay. All right. Next one?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I got to read the backstory. Okay. This one is crazy narcissistic ex wants to talk to my therapist. Backstory, he got upset that I broke up with him because my therapist said he was toxic, manipulative, and controlling. So now he wants to join in the therapy session. I'm sorry, it's hydrofishy with 2 Y's.
Okay, cool. Just in case.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, wait, so her ex now.
Yeah, he got upset that she broke up with him because her therapist said he was toxic, manipulative, and controlling. And now he wants to be in the therapy session, or he wants to go to a therapy session.
So this one is gonna be, oh my God, it's like one of those where it's so long that it posted in a, so, do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that one's hard to follow. Well, it's not hard to follow, but.
I am losing my mind. I can't believe what is happening. I understand you have some struggles, but is this justified? Your reasons to stop contacting, according to you, are because your therapist labeled me controlling and manipulative. According to what you have described about his opinion, at this point, I don't know what to believe when you tell me things. But what do you describe someone who tells you to love you? And then at the same time, on the same day, that person hurts you. Over and over and over. Wait. To the point. I really want to rip off my stupid heart. Because it feels like you are in a very messed up way playing with my emotions. And the worst part is that this so-called therapist, aka professional, according to you, only got parts of the truth between us, as you clearly were ashamed or scared to show the whole conversation. Why I said what I said in response to your actions and things you insulted me prior to it over and over. The English is hurting my brain.
Yeah.
Because when you insult me, I try to ignore the pain, but you keep going. And then we both say the worst of the worst. Yeah. And then because last conversation went so wrong, where you threatened me telling me that we won't ever talk again because you decided it. You know, decisions where 2 individuals are involved, it is important for both to decide for both interests. But you tell me to break up. I have to agree out of respect for you. Then you want me to not block or talk back with you. I accept your request because despite all of this pain, I can't stop loving you. And then you do this again. You said that you don't want to hurt me, but you did it again. You told me not to write or contact, but you literally made me an emotional wreck with all of these events. And I am sorry to text you, but for reals, all of this doesn't feel right. Can I talk with your therapist along with you? Like I told you, I really am not afraid for this person to read our conversations. It is important that she gets to see the real whole picture instead of fractions. And I don't mean it to save our relationship, but to help you properly. I don't think I can endure this anymore. And if it really helps as you claim that I be out of your life, I hope things work out for you. Oops. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Hello? There we go. Okay. I hope things work out for you. But before this contact really close, before you stop talking to me, I would appreciate to contact your therapist with you So when we full end this contact and move on, there will be no regrets. At least for me, I really tried.
Is that it?
That is it.
Okay. First thing that comes to my mind.
My gosh, hang on. I have to process all of that terrible grammar. Sorry.
No, you're good. Because I have a couple of things on this one before we actually talk about the stuff. Yeah. So, two things here. Because I've been there, right there, right? At one point in my life, I was right there because of not the same therapist.
You were the one texting or
not
the one receiving?
Not the same context, not the therapist and all this stuff like that. That was me. I've been there sending those long messages and trying to keep a relationship going, right? So I've been there, right? Like, not necessarily begging. Well, yeah, pretty much begging, right? I've been there before, so I completely understand where this guy's coming from. I get it, right?
Oh, yeah, me too.
The second thing that comes to my mind: if you've gotten to this point here, right, to where you're sending these long chain messages, if you take a step back, you can realize this person is not this is not healthy at all. I should not be feeling this way about somebody that I actually love, right? You should not be having these type of feelings, right? I get it. Relationships are hard. They suck. And sometimes they go even worse because the other person or whatever is just like Mentos and Diet Coke. It's just an explosion of catastrophe, whatever happens, right? That's what that was, right? I look at it and I'm going, if you are on the not even the receiving end, if you're a guy that's texting that or somebody that's texting that, just think about that for a second. You love somebody this much that they made you angry. I don't think you should be angry, right? Even though it ended, would you I don't think being angry at that person is the right feeling, right? Depending on how it ended, right?
Are you talking about like this person that is texting this other person is angry?
Yeah, like this person is making me this angry and this upset, but like I don't like those emotions. Like you shouldn't be. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think you should feel those emotions when that happens. Like I know everybody's different, but at the same time, it's like I love this person, but they're breaking up with me, and I don't want to lose them. That makes me angry. So now I'm doing all this stuff towards them in an anger manner, in an anger way, right? I don't think you should be feeling. I look back on that, I'm just like, you should not be having this issue.
I mean, I agree, but I think it's human nature.
It's human nature, right? And I say that, and I'm just like, I could meet somebody tomorrow and be like, I don't know what the.
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I just look at this, I read this, and I'm just like, I don't know. I've been there. And the other thing too that comes to mind is actually there's two more things. The first thing is anytime somebody, in my opinion, anytime somebody breaks up with you, they are making a bet against your future, right? That they don't want to be a part of the future that you're going to have, which should be an insult to you. So what is the best way to get over that insult is to just continue moving forward and make them regret the decision they made. Like they made a bet against you for what your life is going to look like with them or without them, right? Or what their life was going to look like with you, which is an insult, meaning that they don't like what that life is going to look like. So just move forward, the best you can. I hope that makes sense, because it's like whenever you end a relationship with somebody, you're making a bet on my life is going to be better without them, or their future is going to be whatever future they have is not good enough for me or whatever, right? And then you just kind of take that measure, toxicity and shit out of it. That's kind of like bare bones of the life that you're leading and the life that you're going to have is not something that I want, and I don't think it's going to be good enough for me, which, you should take that as an insult and just kind of move on, right? Because they made a bet against you, meaning that they don't think you're going to be successful. They don't think that you're going to be anything, right? The fourth thing is, this guy does not want to talk to the therapist to save the relationship. He wants to defend himself. That's why he wants to talk to the therapist. He doesn't want to go in there and give the real context or real conversations of what happened. He wants to go in there and he wants to defend himself and make sure that he gets the last word in. That's what that's about. You know why I know that? Because, full disclosure, I have family members that are like that. And I've heard that come out of their mouth. I don't want to go to therapy to fix this. I want to tell my side of the story. That's not what this shit's about. right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in all technicality, it kind of is your side of the story, but that's not what that's for. That's, you go in there, first of all, to say, I don't know, like a relationship. I don't know if you want to go into a therapy session to save a relationship. I don't know about that. But you're there to work that stuff out, right? You are telling your side of the story, but you're also trying to understand where this other person is coming from, and then vice versa. But that guy clearly doesn't want to fix anything. He just wants to go in there and defend himself and get the last word in and make sure that, whatever, right? Oh. Just want to tell his side of the story. That's what that is.
Sorry, I just saw the ending. My brain shut down. I guess there was more to that. But that is exactly the thought that I had when I first read through this whole thing. Is this person wants to go and create some kind of sob story for them, so that the therapist tries to tell this other person,
right? Yeah,
or you're
trying to tell this third person that you're a good person.
That was a good way to put it. Defending.
Yeah, you're defending yourself. Sorry, I hope I didn't take the rug out from under you.
No.
But I was reading that and I just immediately just started feeling my skin crawl, because I'm like, as somebody who takes therapy seriously, and I get very upset when people don't, if that makes sense, and I get it's not for everybody. As somebody who takes this very seriously and takes my mental health very seriously and takes whatever the teachings that come out of this, regardless of what it is, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever, that whole thing made me very upset, because it's like, you're not going into this trying to help this other person. You're not going in there to try to help yourself. You're going there to defend yourself so that you can walk away thinking you're the better person. That's not what that's about. You can't go to this. You cannot go to this professional and go in there and defend yourself, because that one time, it'll be one time. That's the only time. It'll be one time you'll go in there. And then that guy's like, I don't ever want to see this guy again. Why did you do this? Don't ever bring this guy in my office again. Right. And you'll be lucky if you even see your therapist again after that, because that is insanely dangerous.
When they were talking to your therapist, you only want to break up with me because your therapist. I'm sure, I mean, obviously we don't have that back story or that context there, but I'm pretty sure this person was like, after sessions, I want to end this because I feel like I've come to the realization, that X, Y, and Z.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't, my therapist told me to break up with you, so
yeah.
And so they're just proving right there that they are.
Yeah. In my opinion, and I know that most therapists can be different, right? And therapists are unbiased third parties involved in all of the situation. They take the context that you give them, and they help you navigate your life. They don't tell you what to do. They give you a navigation. They give you navigation tools. They put you at a fork in a road, is what they do. And they say, you can go down this path, and then this what could happen. You could go down this path, this what could happen. Or you could stay where you're at, and you could stay stagnant. It's up to you. But one of these is going to be better for you, or one of these is going to be worse. It's up to you. But that's what they're there to do. In my opinion, that's what they're supposed to do. They don't tell you, I think you should break up with him, right? Unless, at a certain point, I've had conversations with Frank where I've talked about, my dating life or the lack thereof. And he's like, he flat out told me one day, you just need to stop. He goes, just stop. He goes, you're driving yourself insane. And you guys will see why later. He goes, you're driving yourself insane. He goes, yeah, just stop. He goes, you can continue doing this. He goes, I would highly recommend you just cut it out for a little bit and just be done with it. Yeah. So that's the only time he's ever actually told me to do something. And I was like, okay, you're right. So, sorry, that one kind of triggered me, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so for context, I dropped my daughter. I'm moving way too far ahead, I'm sorry. Narcissistic mother has to make everything about her. Am I the asshole? Submitted by Stiff Annie. Wow, that's awkward. It's interesting, but awkward. All right, so for context, I dropped my daughter at my mother-in-law's house today so I could go get my nails done for my birthday. I got there around 12, we had lunch, and then I was running late for my 1:30 appointment, so off I went. Birthgiver did invite me to lunch, extremely last minute, so I let her know that I had already had plans for today. I got back from my appointment around 4:30 and needed to get home so that my daughter could take a nap, as she has skipped both of her naps today. Mother-in-law was also busy with Thanksgiving prep, so I left her too. My parents live right across the street, so I looked over to see if they were outside so I could say bye. Nobody was there. I also glanced at the neighbor's house, as they spend a lot of time over there. I didn't see it as a big deal not to go searching for them, as one, I was in a hurry, and two, mother-in-law told me she took my daughter to see my dad while I was gone. My mother was waiting in the garage and snuck over there as soon as I left for my appointment. She sent me these text messages when I got home. I told my significant other, I guess, about it, and he sent her a text saying she needs to apologize for her text, as she basically ruined what was a good day with this. Then she really went off saying shit like, "Go to hell, you piece of shit. I blame you for the issues between me and my daughter." A direct thread of messages here. I didn't try to ruin her birthday, if that's how she feels. I don't ever want to speak to her again. When you plan on coming, I will be sure to be elsewhere. I'm done begging forgiveness, and I don't deserve to be treated this way. Do what you want. I can't stop you. Live long and prosper. Don't come to my home until you know what the big fucking deal is. Treat us the way you want to be treated. Additional context can be found in my post. History, my mother has a history of shitty and alcoholic behavior, hence the strict boundaries regarding my child. That was a lot.
This is a lady, and she's talking about her mother, right?
Her mother, I guess mother? Her mother or mother-in-law, I can't remember.
Well, I think her mother-in-law is babysitting, right?
Let me check. Okay, hang on. Drop my daughter at my mother-in-law's house today. Okay.
So her mother-in-law is like her saving grace here.
Yeah, toxic alcoholic. Okay. And then birth giver is what I think she refers to her mother as.
That's what the title on these texts say, so I
Okay. I was like, what the hell? All right. Yeah. Really? You come all the way across the street, but you can't find 5 minutes for me and your dad. Wow. I don't understand your thought process, but I do get the big fuck you sent to me and dad. Enjoy your birthday. I guess I will just throw away your birthday gifts, except for the money. I will keep that for someone else who might need it.
I told you I had plans today. I was planning on seeing you guys at Thanksgiving. I don't know you guys when I was leaving and didn't see anyone. You could have come and saw me when you waited for me to leave to sneak over to my mother-in-law's house. But instead, you want to try to sneak around me to see only my daughter and further prove you don't actually give a shit about your actual child, just the one that I birthed. I'm not going to entertain this bullshit.
You are bullshit. You were across the street for about 10 minutes before you drove off, and when you got back from having your nails done, did you come over here? You can drive across town for his mom, but you can't be bothered to stop here for even 5 minutes. I'm not going to entertain your bullshit anymore either. It works both. Where's it at? It works both ways. You don't feel that you have to show respect to me, but I should be kissing you and I guess your husband's asses to see my grandbaby. You reap what you sow. What you want to reap is a bunch of BS. I should forgive you for all your shit, but I should be accountable for all your grief in life. Get a reality check. Would you be okay with who so-and-so treating you the way you treat me? I think not. I don't know what else to say except why is it okay for you to treat me so ugly and expect me to treat you like a special person that I need to kiss ass to?
Stop blaming so-and-so for the mess that you started as if I can't see all the crap you're saying to him. Nobody is treating you like shit. If I treated my daughter the way you've treated me, I would 100% expect her to set something apparently no one else has bothered to do based on the huge tantrum you throw every time. Stop trying to make everything about you, my baby shower, the birth of my daughter's first birthday. You even had to make about yourself, for fuck's sake. My birthday is still somehow all about you when I told you I had plans. I'm tired of it. I don't know how much of this you expect me to put up with before we just stop trying to mend whatever the hell is left of this bridge. You can't continuously treat me and blank like shit and expect there not to be consequences. Obviously, I'm going to have a problem with you treating my spouse the way you have. You're obviously drunk, so just sit and reflect on that. Don't expect me to be reaching out for anything anytime soon until we both receive a serious apology.
You are obviously self-centered and not able to see how your actions affect the way I react. If anyone deserves an apology, it's your father. You hurt your father. I don't have to forgive that. But what the heck do you care? Life is all about you, right? Stand up for your own actions and stop making your husband your bitch. Jesus. Either way, you love your dad or you don't. I don't need anything from you. Daddy does. Not that you care about anything but you. I have nothing else to say to you. I hope you are happy with your choices. I'll be throwing out everything you left here. You told your dad it was junk, so it's gone.
Wow. I cannot.
Holy. Okay. We all have,
kids.
Right? We all have toxic family members, right? So this one kind of hits close to home for me because of the fact that I don't have as good of a relationship with all of my family as I feel I could, right? Or as I would like to. I have a very good relationship with my mother and I have a very good relationship with my sister. There are other members of my family that I don't really talk to because I've seen outside of said circle, right? I'm not going to give I won't give any details because if I have family members that listen to this, I don't mean this aimed at you. I've seen different parts of this family, of my family, and I just separate myself from that because I refuse to. But I've had family members speak to me in this manner. I've had parental figures speak to me in this manner. It is insanely jarring when someone that raised you, we'll say raised you, because clearly this person did not raise their daughter. There's absolutely no way that this person raised their kid, because that person, the person who said they raised you, if they're acting like that, there's no way, because you would have had to fend for yourself your entire life. I know that for certain because I've been there. I had to raise myself because of shit like that. It's jarring because it's coming from somebody that you least expect it to. Now, this has happened. This happened before, right? And it's happened. Clearly, it happens all the time. But it seems to only happen on special occasions where it's not about this other person. It's about It's about daughter, husband, or the child, grandbaby, whatever. I don't know. I like I said. I have sympathy for people who have to. I have sympathy for people who have to deal with family members like this because there's nothing that you can do. There's absolutely nothing that can be done outside of just walking away. That's it. That's all you have. That is literally the only way that you can save your humanity and save your humanity. I said humanity exactly because that is what is going to end up the dying factor is your actual humanity. Not your mental health. That will go too. Your actual health will go too, but your actual humanity, meaning that if you stay around this long enough, it will consume you and it will become you, and you will become that. So the only way that you can truly free yourself from a situation like this is by just walking away. And full disclosure, you don't have to give them a reason to walk away. You don't have to give you don't owe anybody anything in this world outside of, you don't owe anybody anything outside of taking care of your own self. The fact that this person put up with this long enough to get to this point, along with having a child who is clearly in the vicinity of this same person, says a lot. And again, I've seen that. And not only in my personal life, I've seen that, and it is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I feel for anybody who has to go through this. It's awful, but yeah, like if a parent is speaking to a child like this, regardless of how old they are, right? I could be 35, you're 35, 40, whatever, and your parent is still talking to you like this. That is just disgusting.
Devastated, in tears, like what?
Yeah.
I cannot.
Yeah, I've seen family members speak to other family members like this. No, nobody's actually ever spoken to me like this. Well, maybe one or two, but yeah, that's just so easy for you to be like, all right, shutting that door because I can't. This is another case of like not having enough spoons. We've talked about it multiple times. This right here would take up every single damn spoon that I had for a whole month because when somebody that I try not to speak to contacts me, it takes me a long time to get past that contact because I don't like speaking with this person. And when they contact me, it takes me a long time to actually fully recover from just speaking with them. because it's never good. It's never good, which is clearly the case here. So if you're listening to me, take my advice. If you have somebody like this, and if you're talking to somebody on a, not a regular basis, but if somebody reaches out to you and literally just destroys like how you're feeling, just walk away from that shit. Just leave it. Just be done with it. It doesn't matter how close you are. It doesn't matter who they are, what they are, whatever. Just leave it. There is nothing that you will be able to do to save any portion of what that is. God, that's another one. That one pissed me off too. Stand your ground. Stand up for yourself. And you don't have to defend yourself. You don't.
Okay, to just receive it, walk. See you
just
later.
Walk away.
You don't even have to engage. Mm-hmm. Also, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself if you have the capacity.
Yeah.
But don't get yourself into something that you can't.
Yeah, don't go into a frenzy, and because you'll say stuff that you don't mean, and then you'll just end up being the same type of person that you're arguing with at that point, right? So it's a never ending cycle. And this is the other thing too, is like, so full disclosure, a lot of like people, there are very few people that know where I live because of this particular type of situation. That shit right there is the reason why my mother and my sister are the only people that are the only two people know where I live, outside of my closer friends, right? But outside of that, nobody really knows like where I live because of that shit right there. Because I'm afraid that's going to find its way at my doorstep, and I'm going to have to do something, and something bad is going to happen. So yeah, that's probably a lot for you guys, and you guys are like, okay, hold on, he needs to calm down a little bit. But again, these last two have been pretty triggering for me, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, I've been in these situations on both ends, and it's just not pretty. You take a look at yourself afterwards. Like, you ever done something and then you're like, yeah, that was the right thing for me to do. And then you see somebody else doing it and you're like, I did that before. That was not the right thing. That was terrible. And you're like, and then you just immediately just go into just a tailspin of like, yeah, because I've been on both ends of this. I've been on the receiving end and on the giving end of that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And when you look back on it, you're like, and then that's when you really make the decision. You know what? I'm just stepping away from this whole thing and being done with it. Okay, sorry. I feel like I keep stealing any sort of thunder that you have, but these are hitting me close to home. So sorry, my shoes are.
Don't come at me when we go to lunch.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm gonna come at these motherfuckers. Sorry.
Well,
what do you have?
I think this is aggressive. Like
that
message, because letting it get to even her calling me bullshit would have been like, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. I don't need to tell you that I'm done dealing with it. Sure, like, I know it's going to hurt you to see that in writing, but...
Is it going to change anything?
But I don't want to also discount the fact that sometimes it's therapeutic to be like, I have to tell you everything that's on my mind, so here you go. Mm-hmm. But if you are able in the moment to step back and be like you just said, will this change anything? Yeah. Or is it just for me to get this stuff off my chest? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then go, for lack of better words, boo-hoo or vent to somebody else. Let this be done, because you're only digging yourself further into frustration. And allowing them to get they're going to have the upper hand. Absolutely, yeah. Maybe say what you have to say and walk, or don't even dignify with a response. Just walk away. Just be done with it. Like, easier said than done. I know, and I say that, but there are still portions of my life that still are in my life, right, that I haven't done so with. It's just one of those things where I actually have, like, it's just, I've watched from the outside looking in. I've seen things transpire, and I've watched the way people interact, and I've watched these things, and I'm just like, all of this is just absolute, just dumb. For lack of a better term, like, this is dumb. This whole scenario, like, I watch things play out. I'm like, this whole thing is dumb. Like, you have no business talking. You have no business talking. And then I just, instead of like giving any sort of context, I just removed myself. And then, yeah, it just becomes just this never ending, just menagerie of just chaos. And you're like, I can't, like, this whole thing is dumb. Like, all of you are pitting each other against each other, and no, done, gone. See ya, bye. So yeah, you don't owe anybody any explanation when you walk away from something. Yeah. No. No. I mean,
And then this is all, and, this is the pot calling the kettle black whenever, I get pissed off when I get ghosted. But, I mean, I feel like that's different. But at the same time, it's like, you don't really owe anybody an explanation of why you just don't want to deal with it anymore. It's like, you know what? Done, gone.
And if you do end up, like, let's say, going to therapy or work, then at that point you can address it. But if it immediately goes sour and they're not willing to see your point or try and understand where you're coming from or where they're coming from, then don't even.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Or let it. Who cares? And I hope it hurts. I think that's the
Apple TV.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Okay. Text between my ex-therapist and me. This is submitted by Millennial Probs. Backstory. I have been seeing my therapist for the last few weeks, and it wasn't amazing, but it was going okay. I was diagnosed with PTSD and have a very high anxiety for a while. I have come a long way controlling it, and it's only getting better exponentially. All my sessions with her, there have never been any solutions. It's always been me talking about how I'm feeling and her diagnosing me with random disorders. Is this normal behavior from a therapist standpoint? I'm super open to feedback if I'm in the wrong.
Okay.
Just talked about this.
You want me to be blue?
Sure.
Or no, I think the blue's the man.
The therapist? Is it?
I think because it says her.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you be the boy.
Okay. Hi. After our session...
Oh, no. Sorry.
Wow.
I
can't read that fast.
Okay.
Hi. After our session today and last week, I don't think we are a good fit for each other. I'm already trying to live with my issues at the moment, and I don't appreciate how casually terms like bipolar and agitation were thrown at me. I'm working really hard on myself, but our phone call really has me spiraling and freaking out for the last hour, thinking that things are not going well. I was fairly positive before. I'm sorry, and I really appreciate all our sessions and everything you've done for me. Thank you.
I think I am very good for you to get you really well. You are narcissistically injured. Oh my God. My words, because you can't face possible truths. You won't get well until you can face truths. Just so you guys know, there's a typo in her message. I know it is scary. Does that look weird?
Because that's not the way it's spelled.
Okay. It's scary and stings, but I am the right fit for you.
I am okay with you telling me the truth, but I would also appreciate some empathy. If I don't feel like our sessions are a safe space, how will I open up? You again threw narcissistic right at me when I sent you a vulnerable text. I just don't know if this will work.
Okay, but to you later. I am in between many emergencies.
Okay, take care.
You must toughen up.
I absolutely do not appreciate this tone. I respectfully sent a text that I do not want to continue. Good luck with everything.
Stop. What? First of all, the English is ridiculous.
Yeah, you have no business speaking with this person.
They are not the therapist you want to see. You're not the droids. You're not.
That is not the therapist you seek. That is for certain. All right. Again, this one kind of hits me close to home. Mm-hmm. And it's not personal. It's other people, right? So one of the things my therapist told me when we first started, he said, full disclosure, everything that happens here, this is you and me, unless X, Y, and Z, right? First thing right off the bat, right? Unless I feel that you're gonna cause harm to yourself or to somebody else or whatever, then everything that happens in here will stay in here. That's number one. The second thing is my therapist has never, in the 3 years that I've seen him, he has never once diagnosed me or told me anything. He has always been straightforward. He's always said, that's not a good behavior, but this is why. And I want you to read this book and he'll tell you why. You'll understand, right? Nice guy. Nice guys finish last. Read it. There are other books that he's also happy to read, right? So that's full disclosure. He's never once ever tried to diagnose me with anything else. I have told him that I have these type of feelings, like this anxiety or this depression or this stuff. And he goes, okay, have you thought about getting back on your medication? And immediately I go, well, probably not. I don't really want to because I would rather have, X, Y, and Z. And then he's like, oh, okay, well. And then it's just, that's the end of it. There's nothing else, right? So this is why it gets triggering for me. I got lucky because I found the right fit for me, right? Now, there's two sides of this coin for me, right? Not all therapists are going to be good. Exhibit A, right? But he also told me that when I started taking my mental health seriously and making myself better, the people around me were going to change, if that makes sense.
We're good. We're recording.
Okay. All right. So we had to take a small break. Breeze, I'm going to say Colin because everybody knows who he is. We do our best to protect names on here, but I'm like, he's been on the show 3-4 times almost, so everybody knows who he is, right? So Colin called Marie while we were in the middle of talking, and he's on his way home, and she was like, he's driving and he's calling me. I'm a little worried. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. No. Would you like to say why he called you?
Okay. So on last Monday, he bought a bag of Doritos, and he was like, these things are the most inflated bag of Doritos I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, okay, I'm going to keep them in my truck and see what happens to them home. So he was calling me to tell me that they popped. And yeah, that's that.
That's
very important. Very important. His science experiment
was a success. He knew it was going to happen.
Yes.
Good for him. Yeah, everything's fine. He just had a bag of Doritos pop. Now, when she said that's why he called, two things. One, I laughed because I'm like, I would absolutely do the same thing. And two, I was not surprised as to that's the reason why he called, because that is hysterical. And I would absolutely giggle like a kid at that happening. Like I would just sit in the car, pop.
He said he didn't know what exactly it was.
That would freak me out too.
And then he smelled.
It happened. it.
Okay, back to it.
Yeah.
Recap of Oh, right. We were talking about the therapist.
Yeah, the narcissistic therapist was like, no, we are a good match, and he has zero grammar skills whatsoever.
Oh my God.
Full disclosure, this is like a bot. This has got to be a bot that just, yeah.
It's spelled Scarey, and I looked up at Dylan, and I was like, did I say that? Like, is that the right word?
No, you were like, why does that not look right? I guess because it's not spelled correctly. Okay, so everybody know. Okay, so if anybody talks to me on a daily basis, I text and talk, or I text and write like I talk. That's how I do it. I have no punctuation, no grammar whatsoever, right? I text like I talk because whatever. So I don't have the best texting skills as far as grammar goes. So I can't make fun of. Now, my spelling is normally on point, right? But my grammar, I can't make fun of anybody on that because I don't put commas, periods, anything in what I say, right? Because I expect people to know what I'm talking about. But
right?
You never know, right? So.
No,
But still,
I make a ton of spelling mistakes because my fingers don't hit the button as fast as my brain is trying to hit it, and I just hit send. But like even toughen, that's not how you spell that, right? Or is it?
That is.
It is?
Yeah.
Why does it look weird?
I don't know how to answer that one for you. Sorry.
Maybe it's because I'm like, the English language is already so weird.
Oh yeah. It's one of the hardest languages in the world for other people to learn. Yeah.
The GH there makes different.
And people say, and there's so many different slang terms.
Oh.
And different words, like different words have different meanings. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't do the grammar police thing because I'm like, whatever.
I can't believe she said you are narcissistically injured by my words because you can't face. Who says that? First of all,
like
as a therapist.
Well, what kind of professional would say that you're being narcissistic and you're upset that I'm telling you the truth? You're diagnosing me with PTSD and different things. Instead of giving me help, you're putting me on medication.
Yeah.
Right? And I will never say that you don't need the medication. Now, that's different people have different needs. And for me, I would much rather, for example, like I would be on depression meds and there would be no highs and lows. It would just be a middle. So I wasn't happy and excited and I wasn't sad, right? Which after a while, that sucks. I would much rather have the highs. I would take the highs even with the lows, right? If that makes sense. I would much rather feel the happiness even with the sadness. So I'm like, I can't. Yeah, I would. Yeah, exactly. I want to feel something, right? I just don't want to be middle of the road. Like, no. So yeah. So like, I will never tell somebody don't use medication, right? Sometimes it's not right for you. You know, that's a given. But and then the other thing is we were talking about there's good therapists and there are bad therapists, you know, but there's also the right fit for you, right? One of the things that gets me really angry, and not really doesn't give me angry. It's because we were talking about this beforehand. When I took the initiative to get better with my mental health and make myself healthier, right? I dove headfirst into it, and there was no stopping, right? I just cannonball straight into that deep end, right? Whatever happens, happens, right? So when I share these things with other people and I tell them, like, I was like, I mean, no disrespect by this, but you should get help, like professionally. Like, but not because you need it, but because it's going to help you and it's going to it's going to help you navigate life, if anything, right? Regardless of what your situation is, it's going to help you navigate life because really and truly, that's really all you need is a navigation on life and a better understanding of X, Y, and Z, right? Human emotion, stuff like that. Sometimes you just need that guidance, and that third party always helps, right? At least it helps me. Now, again, there are good therapists and there are bad therapists. What really upsets me is when you get the bad therapist or somebody gets the bad therapist and then they don't try to get another one. They just give up altogether.
Yeah.
One of my deal breakers in my relationships have always been a commitment to personal growth. That's one of the biggest things for me because I made a commitment to mine. Am I perfect? No. Will I ever be? No. But whenever I tell somebody, I think you should talk to a therapist because I think you would benefit a lot from this. And then they'd give me this, and I apologize if I am crossing a boundary or if I'm crossing a line here. And if I do, I apologize again. I'm not a professional. Will never tell you what you can and can't do. But one of the things that drives me insane is when I tell somebody, hey, I would recommend getting a therapist because it's going to help you, right? And then they give me some backstory of the therapist and tell me that, you know, they did X, Y, and Z, and or they blabbed about my problems to other people and all this other stuff. And I was like, and you know, my immediate reaction is, well, that was that person. Like, there's other people out there that can help you. That does kind of like upset me sometimes because of the fact that I'm like, you know, because those are the people that will dump on you and you're just like, I can't help you. So this is kind of one of those things that this is the reason why these conversations happen is because of therapists like this that will completely just take control of everything and just make you into the worst person, you know. While I agree and I understand why you're like, I don't really want to go to therapy because I had a really bad experience. Completely understand that, right? But at the same time, it's like, you know, don't give up because that first step you took is like, that's the right one. You just didn't find the right person, you know? I mean, and in the same context, it's like dating. You know, just you're paying somebody as well, but never mind.
Sent this first text message because it was very respectful. Because especially if your first session, like if they were any somewhat professional, for lack of better words, which clearly this person is not, and I'm sure they felt that, and that's why they sent this text message.
Yeah.
I would have just sent this message and done. Because if they were a respectful professional, they would have emailed back and said, thanks so much for letting me know. I wish you luck in your journey. And that's all that needed to be said here.
Yeah.
To go on and say you're narcissistically injured by my words in that session, that's why you don't want to be with me or whatever.
You need to toughen up.
That right there would have just been like, I'm done with this conversation.
Yeah.
But then they decided to engage them again and then basically get told that they need to toughen up.
Yeah. We'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like then the egotistical thing of we'll talk about this later. I have other things I have to attend to. No, there is no conversation. There is no conversation. It's like, okay, take care. You must toughen up. What the? Now, no. That's such a personal statement.
Mm-hmm.
to say to somebody, and you can't make that personal. Never, ever, 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 ever. That's just so unprofessional. Like never, and I'll give you an example. Like my therapist Frank was transitioning from going with insurance, with working with insurance companies to no longer work with insurance companies, right? No idea why, but he just decided I'm not doing that, right? Which can be harmful to some people because that's the best way that they can afford, right? But immediately after he said, hey, I'm no longer going to be working with said insurance company. Actually, I'm not going to be working with insurance companies at all. This is going to be my fees. If that's a problem for you, I completely understand. We can try to work something out. Or I have other people that I work with in my office that will continue to work with these insurance companies. I can help you with them. Right. And then it's, well, all right, what do you want to do? Obviously, I stayed because I am not starting over. To hell with all of that, first of all. Second of all, that was the best. That's like the most professional way to handle that, essentially. And even still, it's like, hey, I don't think this is going to work between us. I need something different, right? Okay, well, I tell you what, I've got other people that I work with in my office. Maybe let me give you if you don't mind, I'd like to give them your information, and maybe a little bit about you, and let's see if they are a fit for you. Would that be okay? Yeah. And then, all right, cool, done. Yeah, okay, all right, I'll pass this along. Best of luck in your journey.
Yeah, this makes me very upset.
Yeah, and it's like,
I wish that I don't feel like this person did anything unprofessional. Like the person texting did not do anything unprofessional in the sense that he did not really engage what the therapist was saying.
mm-hmm.
But I feel like, I don't know, that therapist makes me super angry.
Yeah. Oh no, that makes me insanely angry. And again, that's why I get upset, because I understand wholeheartedly when people are like, I don't want to go to therapy because I had a bad experience, and you see shit like this, you're like, oh, I can see why you understand that. But my answer is always like, just don't give up, please, because again, it's just one of those things where it's like it's gonna help you, and it's not gonna fix everything, but it's just gonna be just so much better. And that's one of my deal breakers, is like, if we continuously have to have that conversation. And I tell you, commitment to personal growth will always be a strong, one of my highest on my list of things that are non-negotiables, basically. And that will easily just end things, regardless of dating, friendship, whatever. That will always be one of those things that I'm like, you listen, at least try. Don't give up. Don't, just at least try. A commitment to personal growth is different things. But again, take the necessary steps. Stop making excuses. Just please do it, right? And if you don't find the right one, I'll help you. I will help you find the right one. I know people that can help you. I have somebody that could probably help you. If he can't help you, I know that there's somebody in that realm that can. Let me help you. No. You know what? All right, fine. You know what? I'm done. I'm done. Like, I literally had a conversation with somebody the other day that it was pretty much the same thing. I was like, you don't take responsibility for your own happiness. I'm out. Mm-hmm. So, and I hate being, I feel cold and I feel terrible saying that, but it's like, I have taken those steps to better myself, right? Mm-hmm. Will I ever be perfect? No, but at least try. Take the step. If it doesn't work the first time, try to find somebody else. There's so many people out there that can help you, right? So anyway, I kind of jumped on a soapbox on this one, sorry. But no, if a therapist ever spoke to me in that manner, I would probably have a hard time not engaging. It's like, oh, okay, well, let me just tell you something about you dyslexic fuck. Sorry. You feeling a bit ignored? Sorry. Yeah, don't even, I wouldn't even put up with that. I definitely would have said something terrible and then blocked them. I don't have my therapist's phone number. We communicate strictly through email. That's it, right? And I get, sometimes you gotta have them on, speed dial or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's different for different people, right? Yeah. And some therapists are a little bit more open for that. I've never actually had that conversation with my therapist, but we communicate via email. Hey, the appointment's set for this date. Oh, hey, by the way, I never received your payment. Can you send it to me right quick? Cool, awesome, done. So I don't know if I'd be okay with having my therapist's phone number or them having mine. Not that I don't think anything bad would happen, but at the same time, it's like I just feel like, yeah. But then again, you can do the telehealth stuff and FaceTime communication and stuff like that.
Yeah, that might be the only reason.
Yeah, you never know. Thoughts on that one? Any more on that one? Like I don't feel like there's anything else outside of lose your license. Yeah, go to therapy for yourself at that point, right? You need to find a professional for your narcissistic behavior. Because my God, the ego behind all those statements was, "I can help you. I can." It was basically saying, "I can fix you." Yeah, I can fix you. Not that I can help you. I can fix you.
Okay, I think we have.
All right. All right. So I have my high school ex blocked on everything. He's continued to contact me for I'm sorry. My high school's boyfriend's wife just sent me this. We're 35 now. This is Star Fairy Shortcake. Backstory. I had my high school ex blocked on everything. He's continued to contact me for years using different mediums. Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. If he can find me on a news site, I eventually get a message. Christ on a mountainside. I woke up this morning to this message from his wife, who he had a baby with last year, from what I've been told. I broke up with this man 20 years. I'm 35 now. This is bonkers. I feel bad for his wife, but Jesus, leave me alone. I'm terrified of what this is going to look like.
I suppose I will.
I saw the first 3 words, and now I'm already wanting to punch my screen.
We'll say, I'm guessing that's a name.
Yeah.
So, name truly misses you. He and I have had many deep conversations, but in the end, he can never forget you. He loves you and can never forget you. He's settled for me, but in his heart, he truly doesn't want to be with me. He loves you. Sorry, I'm choking on my words. Whew. You hold his heart forever, and that will never change. He misses you to the moon and back. Please consider talking to him because he has opened up to the fact that he always truly loved you and I was just a rebound. You may never read this, but I can't see him sad for this kind. I hope you talk to him in the future. He misses you with all his heart. Okay, that was the only text. All right, here's the thing about this. I feel like
I think I'm on the same wavelength with you.
I almost feel like he stole his wife's phone.
Yeah.
And tried to make it appropriate for him to reach out.
Like, yeah, or for her to reach out to him.
Weird.
Yeah.
Super. He is obsessed.
Yeah, that's scary.
Oh my God! Look at the time. 12:26 a.m.
Yeah, he stole his wife's phone and sent that message to her to make it appropriate for him. Or no, not even for him, but for her to reach out to him.
Wow.
Oh, like...
there's a lot going on. Excuse you? He's married with a child, and the wife... okay, let's, entertain just for a hot second that this is the wife. For her to reach out to this woman that her husband is so clearly in love with, after making a vow to love this man for...
I'm trying to figure out how long. I broke up with the man when I was 20 years old. So this was almost 15 years ago. So there's no telling, I don't know, there's no telling how long he's
been doing this.
Well, not only that, but there's no telling how long this other person has been married, right? How long he's been married to this other person.
Well, we assume for at least a year.
At least, longer, maybe. Like, we can entertain the fact that maybe his wife did reach out and said all this stuff. First of all, why don't you just have a little bit of respect for yourself?
He settled for me.
And just get the fuck out of there. I was reading that whole thing, and there's no way a woman said that. There's absolutely no way a woman said that.
That was my immediate thought was that he stole her phone, because this does not feel very feminine.
And not only that, but I can tell you right now that message would not have come through if a husband actually said that to his wife. The next words would have been, "Yes, Your Honor, I killed him. This is why." That would have been that is the start of a 48 hours true crime documentary right there. Because yeah, truly.
And I don't mean that oh my God, there's something wrong. I mean are you okay?
Yeah.
Please send help.
Yeah.
Like,
let's not worry about him. Let's go do a wellness check on the wife, right? I mean, there's so many factors. Like, is this like a postpartum depression type situation? Okay, I'm not a professional. I don't claim to understand, women behavior. I never will, right? But I do know that that type of stuff happens, and it can be, and it can go multiple different directions sometimes, right? And I've heard, scary stories. If that's, the only way that I could actually explain that would be some sort of postpartum depression, maybe, or some sort of depression, right? And again, I don't have any idea how that stuff works, but at the same time, that's the only way that I could explain that, making any sort of sense of a wife reaching out to a ex of 20 years ago, being like, hey, he truly loves you, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. Like, again, if a man said that to his wife, kid or no kid, he's dead.
Forces her to send this message. But if he even had a full-on, I was in a relationship, found out that his ex-girlfriend got engaged and was getting married, and he missed my opportunity to be with this woman while we're dating. Like, so I have been on this, like, I guess, receiving end of, he was so depressed that she got engaged. And I was like, why is this affecting you so badly when you're in a relationship with me?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I feel like I missed out on the love of my life. Okay, I'll just take my hat off and leave. Like, what? And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. It's just so dumb.
I feel this. Like, you talking about triggering,
that, like, there's so many different ways that went right there, right?
How do you, oof.
But, how do you, in your head, I could see you having that thought in your head. Not you particularly, but this person, right? I could see you, having those type of thoughts in your head, but I physically cannot see someone typing all of this stuff out and sending it to said person. I just can't. Like, again, that is, we the jury find the defendant level of, yes, Your Honor, I killed him, this is why.
You know what? That brings up a good point too. Like, this feels like a desperate, I'm gonna type this out but maybe never ever hit send and accidentally hit send.
That could be the case too.
The thoughts here are
sporadic. Yeah.
Like, she just needed to get it off of her chest and she never intended to hit send. And maybe that's why she followed it.
But I can't see him sad for this kind. I hope you talk to him in the future. He misses you with all his heart. No. There's no way. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that a wife would send that to another. I can't. I just can't. Like, I can't wrap my head around that. I could see him. I could see it being depression, and I could also see it him going, this is going to be my last chance or whatever. I have to get through to her kind of thing, right?
Yeah. No,
I can't wait till his wife I can't wait till if that's the case, I can't wait till your wife sees this, you idiot. Because she's going to see it. She's going to see it. She'll get it back. Because I guarantee you this woman that received it will post that.
She did on Reddit.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, like, it probably went on multiple other platforms before it went on Reddit. I guarantee you that shit was blasted all over the internet. Again, the internet is undefeated, as I said before. And now he's put on the pedestal once again as being an idiot. Again, we make a lot of assumptions. But again, I am no professional as far as, like, when it comes to women or the behaviors. But in the many women that I interact with on a daily basis, at my work, with pool and in life in general, I cannot see a woman typing that out and hitting the send button. There's just no way. Because there would be.
The only way I see it happening is if she, like I said, if she was, like, just getting it off of her chest and accidentally hit something, or she's drunk. I mean, it is 12:26 a.m. Maybe she's drunk. Maybe she can't take it anymore.
Maybe he's keeps saying it.
Looking for someone to sympathize with the man that he is. I don't know.
You know what? Listen. You know what? This actually brings up a conversation that I had with somebody that acquaintance, like friends of mine, they're a family member of theirs. He's recently going through a separation. And he said, you know why, divorces are so expensive? Because they're worth it. He was like, they suck, but you know why they're so expensive? Because they're worth it. And I was like, never actually thought of it that way. Though I don't really have a reason to think of it that way because I'm not married.
I guess if you get to a point, I'm sure you would feel that.
Yeah, of course. No, absolutely. Right. Yeah, once you reach that point. But from this standpoint, where that right there,
oh, yeah.
Divorce is worth it. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that is an option for you, my friend.
Yeah.
You should. There is no reason with 14 million gajillion billion people on this planet, there is someone out there that will treat you better than placing second.
Yeah. And tell you that you were just a rebound, or just tell you that you'll never love them more than you love this person that you met 20 fucking years ago.
An inkling of what it is until you receive it back tenfold.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Again, 18-year-old Marie.
I could not wrap my head around that. I was like, as soon as I saw that message, he truly misses you. He and I have had many deep conversations. I went, absolutely, you have not had any deep conversations. He had deep conversations with he had many deep conversations with the back of a frying pan. I'm telling you right now. I just cannot see a woman typing all of this out or listening or entertaining any portion of what that man has to say.
No, but
I would be surprised.
You would,
right? Again,
because I did.
I know, and I've done that too. I have entertained that. I'm all of these guilty as damn charged. No, I've never done that before. No, absolutely not. I've had someone literally tell somebody that I was dating, he's yours, you won, and vice versa. And they've told me that, and I'm just like, first of all, this is high school, so I don't really count that because I'm like, well, you didn't really win anything, right? So just keep that in mind. Oh yeah, I've seen that happen, and that is a horrible feeling. Also, to see that, right, is like you're like, yeah, I have no clue what's happening here. What the hell? And then you hear that from somebody, and you're like, what? Also, you're accidentally seeing multiple people. Like, I don't accidentally see multiple people. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I was dating this guy in high school. I wouldn't kiss him because, first of all, I was terrified because I've never kissed anyone before. And I was like, am I terrible at it? Well, and then, but also I knew he had broken up with his ex-girlfriend. And I didn't want to kiss him until I knew they were officially over. And I wasn't trying to be the other woman. Like, right. It was like one of those things. So anyway, he ended up breaking up with me, told everyone all these huge, giant, enormous, disgusting lies about me. And then not even an hour later, my best friend at the time texted me and was like, hey, so-and-so and I are going out now.
Kick rocks.
You cool with that? I'm like, I get it. Like, what do I say?
Yeah. I guess. We're going out now. I hope you're cool with that. Or are you cool with that? What am I supposed to say to that? Right? No? Like, are you going to break up with him as soon as I say no?
Like, anyway, I ended up just keeping my distance. Oh, I'm sorry. And she got her heart broken, of course. And then so we had graduated. We were hanging out, not important. And it was about a year later. And I got a messenger message from him, like a Facebook messenger message. And it said, hey, I'm getting married tomorrow. Like, this takes it all the way back to, like, our first conversation. He's like, hey, I'm getting married tomorrow. I need you to tell me that it's okay because I feel like I missed my chance of being with you. And I'm not going to marry her tomorrow if you tell me there's a chance. I got that message. And my friend was reading it over my shoulder. And she was like, did I get a message? And so she like went and checked to see if she got one. And he was like, why did he send that to you? And she got mad at me. And I said, wait,
what did I do?
All of this.
Why am I getting punished for his stupidity? What the hell?
Painting that with a freaking reply?
No, the only thing that has come close to that is, I've told this story before, is
they ended in divorce.
I'm sure it definitely sounds like it,
should have said, bro, save the girl.
Yeah, you should have messaged her like, hey, by the way, this is happening. Bye. Click and block. The closest thing I can have to that is, okay, so in high school, I was off and on with this girl for the longest time, almost a year off and on type situation, right? It was just dumb. It was the dumbest thing ever. Even outside of high school, I was still off and on with this chick. So I've told the story about the random girl that I made out with by the locker. I don't know if I've told that. I think I've told that story.
Yes.
Yeah, where it was just like the whole love it. I felt like it was kind of the love at first sight, or like it was just a weird coincidence that has never happened. That you can't write this shit, right? And doesn't happen anymore, in case you guys are wondering. Anyway, the backstory on that is, so the girl that I was off and on with was also knew this other person as well.
Okay.
And this is where this whole thing kind of like escalated to where I was like, what the actual have I done? So person that I was, I'll say, in a relationship with, right? I wasn't in a relationship, but there was nothing exclusive about it. It was, we were off and on, had no clue what we were doing, those stupid will we won't we kind of thing, right? This person had broken up with said girlfriend, or with her boyfriend at the time, because he cheated on her with the same woman that kissed me by the locker. Now, on the other side of that, the same guy that she broke up with, before he was dating her, was dating this other girl, the same person who cheated on her with the other girl.
Okay.
So, I'll let that sink in.
Okay.
So they know each other. I don't know that they know each other, but they know each other pretty fucking well. I don't know that. And so I think at one point or the other, I get senior or my junior, no, it's senior prom. I went with said girl, the one that I was off and on with. Biggest mistake of my life, by the way. And my best friend can attest to this, if she's listening. She literally came up to me and she goes, I just went and told so-and-so that she's won. And I went, no, what? There was nothing, there is no, first of all, I'm not a prize people won. Well, maybe I am, I don't know. But not at high school anyway. But I'm like, what? Huh? And I had no clue. And again, I didn't know that these two knew each other. But come to find out, one of the guys that I confided in, right, that had, I had said, hey man, this happened. I don't really know what to do. Well, he didn't tell me what to do. He went and told the girl that I was off and on with about this. And then I had no clue that he said anything until like we were at a pep rally and this girl was giving me the silent treatment, just wouldn't talk to me whatsoever. And I went, in my back of my head, I'm like, she figured it out. I don't know how she figured it out, but she figured it out. And I'm like, well, hell, now what do I do? It was just a menage a trois of absolute bullshit that I will never, ever want to go through again. But that kind of makes me think of that, where it's like, so these two were seeing the same guy at one point, and now are they playing against each other now against me? Absolutely. And that's when I just kind of like exited. I was like, I ended up choosing the wrong girl, if that makes sense, but I don't know, right? But that just makes me go back and be like, that was horrifying. Well, it wasn't really horrifying, but it's one of those things where it's like, I know looking back on it now, because I've actually learned more about that situation. And I'm like, so was I getting played by both sides because of this mofo?
Well,
kind of sounds like it, right? Anyway, so yeah, again, there's just no way that a woman would send that text message unless she was drunk, depressed, or just, maybe she needed a way out and she was like, I need your help with this. What the hell do I do? Or, something like that. Maybe it was a cry for help,
It could be.
I don't think I would have posted this on I would have been like, are you okay? Like, that would have been my sense. Are you okay? Can I can help you find a defense attorney. I can help you find a divorce lawyer. Just send back a divorce. Local singles in your area. Here you go. Made you a profile on Tinder. Here you go. Don't do that. That's awful. Oh, absolutely. I'm surprised you put up 20 years and then 30, and then so 20 years ago, and then she's 35 getting this message again now. That's 15 years. That's almost 30 something years of harassment. Terrifying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will play. Well, okay, let's do the same thing. Let's do a backstory.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we at the beginning of the show we talked about the Kickstarter for this particular episode was kind of something from a personal standpoint. You know, we've kind of realized that a lot of this has come from personal, right? However, something happened to me recently that actually kind of put me in a, for lack of a better term, it put me in a spiral. It put me somewhere that I never thought I would be again, and it made me just. I actually just went off the deep end. Well, I don't think I went off the deep end. I think I kept myself from spiraling, but it just kind of pushed me to the point to where I have no idea. I just couldn't. I don't know. I still struggle with the feelings that I felt at that time because some of the stuff you're going to read in here, you're going to read this and you're going to be like, wait, A, you're going to think, why is he entertaining this? B, why is he simping for this girl? And you're going to read this and be like, why are you doing that? What the hell, right? I know. And again, when you're in these situations, you really don't think that what's happening, right? So backstory is, I met somebody a couple of years ago that I had a pretty good connection with. Where we were talking for a little bit, then we didn't talk, and then she reached out and we kind of connected and kind of bonded. Ended up sleeping together and having, we had a pretty good time, right? Well, we had a pretty good connection and we had good conversations. It was kind of good. It was great, right? And then after a while, it just went dark. There was, hey, I would like to get together to see you, and it just never got returned. And then eventually, it just kind of went to the part to where it was, no contact or whatever, right? Full disclosure: this person had problems with her ex-husband, and also with her children. There was just a lot of personal stuff going on in the background. So when there was disappearing acts that were happening, I wasn't shocked, and I understood. Okay. Or I thought I understood, right? Yeah. So I'm sure you'll feel the same way. Hey, are you ready? Yeah. So, but was it really what I wanted? It was mostly to not be mentally. Are you telling me right now that you had no sexual attraction or attraction towards me? You only wanted me around because you were afraid of being alone. That's correct. That explains a lot. Yes, that was very unfair to you. I knew something felt off with you that night, and I don't think I would still, and this is what I told you guys, I still wouldn't tell you no. I apologize to you for misleading you. Damn it. I've had dreams about you, about that night. I replay it in my head almost every day. I'm sure it's hurtful to hear. And then this is where the ex thing comes into play. I'm having a really hard time believing that this is real, like this isn't your shithead ex. Now, backstory on this. So I had her, we also talked on Snapchat as well. So I messaged her on Snapchat and said, hey, are you messaging me right now? And then she replied back, yes. And then, so full disclosure. So. Like you thought. So after I sent this message, right? She responded here, and then before I responded here, I sent her a snap, and I said, "Is this real? Are you really messaging me right now?" And then I thought it was her ex, and then she sent me a snap with herself going, "Yeah, it's me." Okay. So it isn't. In all honesty, I am the shit. It's hard to wrap your head because it is so effortless for me to mislead people. When really, it's not genuine. I want it to be, but I can't feel those deep feelings. God damn it. I know. I wasn't trying to hurt you on purpose. I was trying to serve me. You were just an innocent victim. I have a couple of thoughts on that, if we're being honest. Feel free to tell me how you feel. Just know I most likely won't be able to empathize. Okay. Empathize. So full disclosure, I should have stopped right here. But me being the naive human being that I am, I continue forward. So I'd serve you over and over again, no questions asked. You're a damn good actor because you had me fooled. I knew from the beginning, so you aren't completely at fault. So I knew, part of me always thought that there was like some sort of like deceit behind what she was doing. But again, okay. Right?
You're a good friend and a smart person. Just know to be friends with me means it will never be super deep connection wise. I'm working on being okay with myself and being a better person.
I mean, that's okay. I get it and I understand and I appreciate your honesty, though. Kind of makes me feel dumb for actually wanting more of you.
Don't feel dumb. You aren't dumb. It's a side effect of crossing paths with someone like me.
I'd still do it again if you asked me. That's how ridiculous I am.
This is why you were so easy to use. Your expectations need to be. You're the blue.
Okay. And so this was me. So at this point, I realized what was happening. I was just like, that's when I took a step back and I was like, why the fuck am I entertaining this now? Whatever. So why did you have to do this? You made me believe that you actually find me attractive, that you cared for me. I only slept with you because I thought it's what you wanted. And now I find out you felt nothing and it was only to keep me around. You were no different than the others.
I cared, but not deeply and not enough to try very hard. You were kind to me and I liked the attention because it made me feel not alone.
At least you're honest. And and that's when I went into a tailspin. Now, the final words that I said to her afterwards were, you know what? I was like, you know what? There's nothing else to say. You've said everything that needs to be said. I was like, best of luck in your future endeavors. I will not, you won't, I was like, I won't see what you go through. You won't see what I go through. Forget my name, lose my number. And then that was it. So, okay. I could have gone my entire life without having that conversation.
Right.
I would have been perfectly fine with never speaking to her again.
And I would like to clarify, she's the one that texted you out of the blue.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's more to these, but these are the main portions that Marie has seen the whole thing. Yeah, because I immediately, as soon as I saw what was happening, because I was about to go into a tailspin, and I still did, but I kind of stopped myself. So, yeah, she immediately messaged me out of the blue, and that's when this whole thing started. And again, I thought it was her ex trying to pull some shit, and I was like, all right, well, I'll entertain it because I feel like I know what's happening. And then it just kind of spiraled. Again, we hadn't spoken in maybe a couple of months because again, the whole not speaking thing was kind of normal for a while. So I was like, I didn't think anything of it. But again, I could have gone my whole life without having that particular conversation, right? I could have gone if you had never said those words to me, I would have been just fine.
They were unnecessary.
Because the whole thing was unnecessary. Yeah, I get it that I was driving the conversation forward because I was for lack of a better term, something over this bitch. But it's one of those things. They said the right things, they did the right things, and then just kind of blew up in my face, right? So, and again, it wasn't the context behind it wasn't the fact that she said it. It was the fact that somebody could so easily say that to me and then immediately say they have no sympathy for what they are saying to me. That was the immediate, that was the thing that killed me the most.
Understanding social cues or feeling that way. And like I said, I'm not trying to be
disrespectful. No. I honestly, I don't think so.
Because the way that she is speaking in these text messages she is like the main character out of one of my bully romance books. Right?
Like it's not real, right? That's why I was like, this has got to be somebody doing something else, because that was a complete 180 from the conversations that she and I had.
She literally sent these just to hurt you.
Yeah.
And then pretended like it had absolutely no. It had no. I don't know, but oh my god.
Yeah, So again, we hadn't spoken in forever, and if I had never spoken to her again after that, I would have been just fine, right? I would have been just fine, right? There was a part of me that still I did care for her, but again, I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, I can't continue going down this path because it's not getting me anywhere. So I just left it alone. But that's when it reared its ugly head. And I was like, but the main thing was, that's why you were so easy for me to use. Your expectations need to be higher. And that's when I started, I was like, how could you easily say something to somebody like that? I did not want to sleep with her in the first place. I did not. I was at a point in I was at a point in my life where I was like, I'm not. There's the book that I read, Nice Guys Finish Last, where it's like, bad sex is better than no sex. That's not true. I can't do that anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. I've done that before. I'm not doing it, right? And I did not want to sleep with this person, right? But because I thought that's what she wanted, I ended up giving it. And it just, yeah. And it wasn't even that good to begin with. Now that I look back on it and seeing that it was all an act, I'm like, oh wow, then fucking hell. Yeah. Again, I was lying. Again, and the other thing too is I was lying because it was good, but it wasn't mind blowing, and it wasn't something I would go back to again. What you gonna say?
Well,
it's already out there, so I mean.
I think I've brought it up before, but there's like in the Bible it talks about 3 flames.
Yeah, we talked. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing on this, and he was just saying like, if you imagine your flames, one flame. So if you only have a sexual relationship with somebody, it will never burn as bright as all 3 friendship, soulmates, and.
Well, that was the thing. We actually were pretty good friends.
Friendship, soulmates, and the sexual.
We were pretty good friends. We had really good conversations. It wasn't just like we just like jumped into bed at the last. Right. There was a pretty strong connection there, right? It was just what was going on in her personal life with her ex and her kids. Like when she would disappear after moments, like for times, I would understand because I'm like, obviously you have something going on, right? Whatever. But yeah, needless to say, like to avoid going down a spiral, I took those screenshots and I sent them to Marie. I sent them to a couple of other people as well. And one of my other friends, God bless her, she was like, "Where does she live? I'm gonna go curb stomp this bitch." And she was like, "Who does she?" She's like, "Who does she think she is? Who does she think she is talking to you like that? She can't talk to you like that. Block her now." And I was like, "Okay." I was so out of my depth at that point in time. Like I have never been in that position before in my life where somebody has literally told me, "I used you and I don't care about you whatsoever." I was just like, what? And I could have gone my whole life with never having that conversation and I've never spoke to her again. I'd be fine.
Do you have her blocked now?
Yeah, I have it blocked. Absolutely. I have no inkling to ever speak to her again. And she'll never see anything from me ever again. Like I'm pretty sure she used to listen to the show. She'll never listen to the show. If she wants to if you listen to the show, to hell with you. I'll just go ahead and say that. Can't block her on Spotify.
Honestly, like I'm curious to know because something had to have just happened to be the victim or something.
She said that. Well, so the beginning of that mess, those text messages, she was like, she sent me like this journal or whatever that she had written on some website or whatever. I don't know. And she was like admitting to all these things. What was it that in the Falcon and Winter Soldier? What was Bucky doing? Where he was making those apologies and whatever. Yeah, she was trying to reconcile or something like that, right? You get the idea. I think that's what she was trying to do. And I told her, I said, and I was honest, like, I don't really think you didn't really lead me on. Like we were friends. We had a good connection and it just didn't pan out. Like this is where it is what it is. Like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't have any ill will towards her outside of,
Is her ex-husband like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where he would just like.
I have no clue. I have no clue. So I do.
She needed to be above you because she's been.
She's had
above someone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I don't know if that's the case. I have seen like conversations between the two of them. She screenshotted and sent them to me, which is part of the reason why I was like, okay, when she disappears, I could see why, because she's having problems with, crazy baby daddy or whatever. Right? I've seen the way that he talks to her and I've seen, how she would respond. So again, that's why when this was happening, I was like, that's a complete 180 from what I've seen from you. So what you're telling me is everything that you've shown me has been a full act because you were afraid you don't want to be alone and because I was giving you the attention. And I will tell you with absolute certainty, as soon as this took place, I went into my phone and I deleted every female contact besides my mother, a few of my teammates from pool, my sister, yourself, and a couple of other people. I was like, any past relationship that I had, any potential relationship that I could have had with somebody, I went in there and I deleted all of it. I was like, I'm done. I am completely and utterly done with every single solitary one of you because I just can't. I cannot deal with it. Like I have like maybe 3 female contacts in my phone. And I was like, I was like, if you want anything to, my thought process, and I'm going to put this out there and I apologize, don't take this the wrong way. If you want any sort of contact with me, you will have to come back to me. I will never speak to you again. The best way that I can do that is I can delete your number and I can forget about it. Because I don't save numbers. I don't memorize numbers. You were in my phone, but you're no longer in my phone. And I blocked her for sure. So she has no way of getting in contact with me whatsoever. But I deleted other numbers and I was just like, I'm done. I'm completely done with every single one of you because I don't want to deal with it. I'm done. I know. And I apologize if that's you guys are like, oh, it happens or whatever, don't be so upset about it. But it's like, I literally just had somebody tell me that I manipulated you because you're easy to manipulate. Well, you know what? I'm just going to take myself out of the fucking game. Yeah. And then if you want any part of me, you'll have to come crawling back to me. That's what you can do.
To hear. that you will not sleep with someone again.
Full disclosure, I have already had that conversation with a lot of, I will never sleep with anybody ever again. Hang on. Yeah. What were you going to say? Sorry. It's like,
unless you feel a connection.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
Okay.
Live your life, right?
I don't sleep with people that I don't feel a connection with. No. Why are you looking like that for? I'm trying
with her.
No, I had a connection with her. That's what I'm saying.
Didn't want to. I guess what I'm saying is,
I didn't feel like it was the right time. I had a connection, but I didn't feel like it was the right time.
And for anyone listening, don't ever feel like you do not have the option to say no. Because, and maybe this is taking a different turn, but I'm so serious. Like, hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
You have a voice in it, and don't let anyone pressure you into anything to do yet or whatever.
Right.
Because that could save you a heartache down the road.
Yeah. And again, like, it wasn't like, again, I didn't just sleep with them because I didn't just because for the sake of sleeping with them. It was, I did have a connection with them.
Well, okay.
And so I saw this was going somewhere. I thought this was going a different direction.
Yeah.
And it was going to be better, but it just didn't. And, but I was willing, but I was okay with that because it's like, okay, obviously it is what it is. Like, we're just different places. You don't really, whatever. Again, no response is a response. And Absolutely. There was no response after what transpired. So I was like, all right, well, I don't chase. I'm not going to do that. Right. So I just kind of let it go, and there was a couple of times where I tried to get us back on the same page, and it was just never happened again. It was one-sided. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Then I'm going to remove myself from the equation. Don't worry about it. Right. If you, come talk to me when you feel necessary or whatever, right? No big deal. And then this is when that conversation came into play. And then that's when I was like, okay, so I don't think I want to sleep with anybody ever again. I don't think I want to talk to anybody else ever again. Holy shit. So that was, I'm not going to lie, that actually hurt me a lot. And again, I didn't really like this it wasn't from somebody that I didn't have that deep of a connection. Like, we had a pretty strong connection and we were pretty good friends, I felt like. But I think the worst part was the fact that somebody literally said in a text message, I did not have any sort of attraction to you. I did not want to be alone. I only slept with you because I didn't want to be alone. And I'm just like, that was I was like, that's the biggest, I was like, and I looked at it and I was like, that's the biggest, like, I was like, that's the most horrible thing you could have said to me, right? Because I get it, sometimes you're not attracted to somebody. It is what it is, right? Or whatever, right? But to say that you had no feelings for me and you faked everything that, you were just there so I wouldn't be alone. Like, literally, it was just a waste of my time, and you lied to me the entire time. And then you just so easily said, I just manipulated you because you're easy to manipulate and I was bored. And it's like, so hold on. But yeah, it was hard for me to wrap my head around because I was like, I don't know. It was just like, there was a lot that went into it. It was like, in my opinion, it was just like one of those things where it's like, you said to say that you had no attraction to me whatsoever and you slept with me. Like, I'm like, I was like, that really sucks. I'm probably like you got people that are probably like, well, suck it up or whatever. But I always figured, and this is the other thing too, where I was like, well, now I'm questioning my entire existence because, like, I always felt like if you slept with somebody, there was some sort of attraction at one point. And then it's just like, well, it didn't work out. It wasn't, it's not what I wanted, not what we, whatever, right? I'll see you, whatever, right? When one night stands, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, none of that was true. Felt no sexual attraction, didn't find you attractive whatsoever. I just did it because I was bored and you were easy to manipulate and I didn't want to be alone. It's like, then why? Then, and that I was just like, then I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to talk to any of you anymore. Like, I looked like I've, over the past couple of years, I've tried to jump back in the wagon of dating, and I just went through my phone and I found all these different potential partners that I met, and I just like delete, block, delete. I just went down this a fucking rabbit hole of just going through all this stuff, and then I don't know how to explain it. Like, it affected me a lot more than it should have. No, actually,
I don't think that's true.
That's what a lot of people are saying. I've talked to a lot of people about this. I was like, this shouldn't have affected me at all. Like, no. What the hell? Yes. Like, first of all, nobody has the right to talk to you like that.
Absolutely not.
And second of all,
it would affect the most confident man in the world.
Yeah. They were like, nobody has the right to speak to you like that, first of all. And second of all, they didn't do that to like make amends or whatever. They did that to hurt you. They literally did that to hurt you. There was ill will behind everything that they did. That's the only reason they did that.
Absolutely.
That's when then, and that's when I was just like, then that's when I was like, I'm done, because I don't trust any of you anymore.
This was an intentional, I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like, when she was like, well, you can continue your conversation, but don't expect any empathy.
Yeah.
Well, listen here, lady.
Yeah. I was like, it was crazy because that reaction happened because I reached out to a few people and I was like, I am trying not to fall down a rabbit hole here, and I don't really know what to do because I'm gonna lose my mind. And which one? But anyway, but it just made me question like everything. It's like I don't trust. No offense, ladies, if you're listening. I was like, I don't fucking trust any of y'all anymore. I'm done. I'm out. I'm done. Again, the people that are in my phone right now are people that I trust. That's it. These were potential partners that could have been, and they've been on my phone for too long. They had no business in my phone anyway if I don't talk to them. But at the same time, this made me question everything that I had done up until this point. And I was like, how? Like, how am I what am I supposed to do now? Like, I can't trust anything anybody says to me ever, And it's like, I don't know. This was the catalyst for this episode was that particular. Like, I've had a lot of problems in the dating realm, as people know, right? But that right there is just it. I don't know, man. It just pushed me to a point to where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't. No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I'm going to continue doing that. I had more fun doing that than I did fucking doing any of this. So guess what? That's what I'm going to do.
So we're gearing up on Friday. I decided.
Friday.
It was Friday.
Do you haul?
No. It was Friday. I decided I was going to take myself out to dinner. So I decided to take myself to Texas Roadhouse, and I just had a little date by myself.
Nice.
It was like this. Don't be afraid to go eat at restaurants by yourself, or go to the movies by yourself, or do any activity that you would typically see two or more people doing, because you can seriously have fun by yourself.
Yeah, and I've done that a few times myself, so I can attest to that. But yeah, that whole thing was the catalyst of this entire episode. Well, not the entire episode. We honestly, after, was it Thursday, we were out in the parking lot at the pool hall, and we were like, we have to do something. And I was like, well, what are you going to do? And then I just immediately went to my head and I went, I'm going to put myself out there for the world to see once again. Let's do this. And she was like, okay.
After all of these text messages and this entire experience, do not be afraid to block somebody when you receive that first weird message. Allow yourself the time to, and I know as humans, like, we want, like, what if I miss something that they say that'll be like screenshot worthy,
or I want to defend myself, or
yes, but in reality, as hard as it is, and definitely easier said than done, don't be afraid to cut the toxicity at the point and let yourself heal. And days, years from now, when you feel like you can handle a conversation, then yeah, sure, reach back out, but don't
even reach out. Don't even reach out, because here's the thing. Well, okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to I don't want to steal your thunder.
About like the mom or whatever. When I'm not, like, that is your mother.
I mean, we're on two different.
It's different, like a point where you feel like you can unblock them,
or you can try again, type of thing.
You don't have to be like, no, I'm sorry. It was
Are you ready to act right now?
But if you can unblock if you feel like you can handle it. But don't. I'm not saying like wait 5 years and say sorry. No.
Yeah, if you block them, you have no reason to say sorry.
Right.
Because if you block somebody, they deserved it.
Right.
That's what I'm gonna say. I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry. Maybe I misspoke there.
No. I've always been of the opinion, like, if you block somebody, they earned it, and I'm guilty of this too. I've blocked and unblocked people but I've never reached out, because I'm like, I don't really want to I don't really want to entertain or send you a message. But at the same time, I would be okay if you messaged me and we could actually have a conversation. But I'm not going to open that door because you don't deserve for me to open that door.
Right.
So that's all I was saying. But then again, if you're at peace with your life without having those messages on your phone, by all means, keep that person blocked. There are multiple avenues of people who can reach out to you if they really want to, right? And then you can block them on there too if you need to, right? Good. No business having any portion of your life. So good. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't have anything else to add. Sorry. I've expended all that I can.
Thanks so much. Episode whatever that we did. So let us know in the comments that you can.
Yeah. So, Instagram. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.